Hello friends. So I had a really detailed analogy come to me and I wanted to share it with you guys in case this may be something that benefits one of you as well. So I've been moving through a lot of the nitty-gritty, murky waters of my inner world, of my inner ecosystem, if you will, and it's not always bright and cheery. But as I was moving through that, I had this analogy come to me and it was really helpful for me, so I hope that it's helpful for you. I want you to imagine a fish tank. And that fish tank, the water within it, is your inner ecosystem. Now, that fish tank is going to experience stimuli, things, experiences in our case, coming in to it. Now, those experiences and stimuli are going to be, you can think of them as like dark spots floating in the water. And as you are experiencing whatever this stimuli or situation is that is coming into your energy field, it's going to start maybe bringing with it some fears or some hurt, pain, whether it be mental, physical, emotional, maybe some letdown, maybe some sorrow or shame, whatever it may be carrying with it, it's going to enter your energy field or your ecosystem. And we can think of that as a black dot in our fish tank. Now, if you're like me and how I have operated for many years, I tend to see the good in all things. So this can be a superpower, but also something that I'm learning that I need to balance out a little bit, because I see the good in mostly everybody, everything, every situation. One of my superpowers is seeing the silver lining. Now, yes, that is sometimes a superpower because I can pull myself up into a higher perspective and navigate tough situations. But that's also a protective mechanism that I have instilled in my way of being since I was a child. Using that ability to see the silver lining, the higher perspective, as a way of shying away from my fears, from my hurt, from my pain, from my sorrow. Now, bringing us back to the fish tank. If you are that type of person who has a built-in safety mechanism that kind of steers your attention always towards the positive, always towards the light, bright, beautiful areas of your life, and you tend to ignore the darker, uncomfortable, murky waters, if you will, eventually your fish tank or your inner ecosystem is going to be more bogged down, become more murky by all of that debris, all of that stimuli that is coming in, but you have not yet taken the time to look at, because your attention is focused on the area of your fish tank that is still light, bright, beautiful, and clear. Now, if you continue to focus only on the clear areas of your fish tank, you may lose track of how dirty your fish tank is becoming. And that is what often happens throughout the course of our life. We're trying so hard to stay focused on the positive, to stay focused on the good, that we don't realize that all around us we're being drowned by all of this darker, murky, uncomfortable stimuli in situations and experiences that we have not yet taken the time to fully look at. Now, in the example of the fish tank, what this would be is looking at the entire fish tank and saying, wow, it's really murky in here. It's gotten really messy. It's gotten really dirty. I can't see through it. And you can see how when it's so clouded, when it's so murky, when it's so filled with all of this stimuli and experiences that haven't been dealt with, it's dimming the overall brightness, lightness of the fish tank, and the light cannot shine through from one side to the other. In the case of your inner ecosystem, that is when we're holding on to all of this pain, all of this sorrow, all of this hurt, afraid to look at it and acknowledge it, and only trying to keep our attention on that inner spark, that inner light. Well, eventually that light is going to be fully drowned out by those murky waters, by those sensations and feelings within our body that we have not yet given our attention to. But once we start to acknowledge this dark, murky water, once we start to acknowledge the fear, the pain, the sorrow, the hurt, whatever that may be in your past or that you are still holding on to, that you have not yet felt yet or acknowledged, just by acknowledging it, it's like turning on the filtration system in your fish tank. Once you realize, oh my gosh, this fish tank is a mess, it's turning all murky, I need to put a filtration system in. I need to turn on the filtration system in this fish tank. That is what happens when we start acknowledging the pain, when we start acknowledging the hurt, when we start looking at the areas of ourselves where we have been wounded, where we have been hiding, where we have been sulking within, too afraid to look at it, too afraid to give it our time, our attention, but inside it's still filling up, it's filling up, it's filling up, it's clouding us, it's clouding us. And before long, you're gonna have to do something about it. And if we decide to do something about it before it fully overtakes us, before the fish tank turns black, then there's a lot better chance of getting through that process in an easier way than having to dump out all of the water, the entire fish tank, and starting anew. If we can filter it out as it's coming or before it gets too dense, then that allows us to move through and to navigate that energy a little bit easier. So I hope that this example helps if you are someone that has maybe unconsciously or consciously been ignoring the pain or ignoring the hardships in your life. This is really just an invitation to acknowledge it, to look at it, to say, you know what, that really hurt. You know what, I still feel saddened by that, or I still feel hurt by that, or I felt like that situation wasn't of a positive outcome for me, but instead you have maybe been spinning it or twisting it to try to continue to see the silver lining. And in doing that, we're really just tricking ourselves. We're pulling away our attention from what really matters, which is saying, you know what, there's some debris in this fish tank, there's some areas of this fish tank that could be cleaner, that could be filtered out. But if you don't look at them, if you don't acknowledge them, you can never fully filter them out or bring yourself back to full clarity, full light and brightness, because there will always be that little bit of debris, that little bit of junk clogging up your internal system. So it's okay to feel the hard stuff. It's okay to acknowledge it. By looking at it, you are actually starting the process of filtering through it and working through it in a healthier way. I love you guys all so much. I'll see you back here very soon.